Google these motherfuckers?
A single comedian, a single sentence, and suddenly the silence shattered. Every joke people had swallowed for years burst into the open. For so long, comics treated them like fragile glass. A cautious tease here, a polite nudge there, nothing that cut too deep. Then Chris Rock stepped onto that Netflix stage, looked straight into the crowd, and voiced what half the world had been whispering behind closed doors. And just like that, the gloves came off.
Going on, Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
He didn't buy the fairy tale for a second. The most famous family on the planet, 1,000 years of meticulously recorded history, splashed across books, documentaries, headlines in every language imaginable, and we're supposed to believe she never once typed their name into Google? Chris Rock wasn't convinced, and neither was anyone with a pulse and Wi-Fi.
The fuck is she talking about? She didn't know. The fuck is the royal family? They're the original racists. They invented colonialism.
Then came the analogy, clean, sharp, unforgettable, and it detonated across social media like a perfectly timed firework. The kind of joke that doesn't just land, it lingers.
It's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot. This motherfucker is invested in slavery like it was Shark Tank.
The Budweiser comparison instantly entered comedy folklore. So simple, so ruthless, so airtight, it barely needed a punchline, but the real shockwave came next. Remember the palace scandal? The question about what color the baby might be? Weeks of outrage, endless headlines, a narrative framed as proof of rot at the heart of the monarchy. In less than 10 seconds, Chris Rock sliced through it, reframing the moment with surgical precision and leaving the audience stunned at how quickly the unforgivable horror suddenly felt debatable.
To know how brown the baby's gonna be, I'm like, that's not racist. Cause even black people wanna know how brown the baby gonna be.
What had been presented as sinister, he painted as ordinary curiosity, twisted into a weaponized storyline. And once he said it, once he proved you could challenge the script without the sky collapsing, the floodgates opened. Suddenly, everyone had something to say, and Colin Jost didn't bother easing into it. He went straight for the punch.
Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
Pause and really absorb that. Britain doesn't want them back. America doesn't want to keep them. Two nations, billions of voices, and neither side eager to claim custody. International hot potatoes with nowhere comfortable to land. And that's when Josh Johnson twisted the knife a little deeper.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
An actress from Suits, not a blockbuster queen, not an Oscar darling, not even the show's central star, just a supporting role on a cable legal drama many Americans hadn't heard of until royalty entered the picture. That was the leap, the grand exchange. Even Saturday Night Live imagined the spin-off, and the satire practically wrote itself.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Unemployed immigrant, they joked about Prince Harry, grandson of Queen Elizabeth II, son of King Charles III, and it aired in prime time without so much as a gasp. That's when you know the cultural tide has fully turned. And if you caught Meghan's lifestyle series, you witnessed something almost surreal. Pretzels lifted from one bag, poured into another, relabeled with a designer flourish, as though it were a revolutionary act. That was the tip, that was the wisdom. Jimmy Fallon could barely process it, and neither could anyone else watching at home.
What is the number one question that mystifies scientists?
Is there life on another planet?
Oh no, why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
There's another bag.
That confuses people.
Store-bought snacks, reborn as domestic genius, presented like a masterclass in elevated living. A duchess who once lived in palaces with staff at her call, now offering advice that boils down to prettier packaging. You couldn't script it better. And as Jimmy Fallon observed, the real intrigue wasn't the pretzels, it was the shifting balance of power behind the scenes.
Yeah, see, this Meghan Markle announced that her As Ever product line sold out in under an hour. It's strange when you marry a prince and you're the breadwinner of the family. Meghan was excited while Prince Harry was like, what the hell am I going to do with 3,000 cases of wildflower honey?
A Prince of England, sixth in line, grandson of the longest reigning monarch in British history, now framed as a glorified warehouse boss for boutique jam and artisanal honey. The arc is dizzying. His memoir shattered records, 600 pages of confession, trauma, frostbite, and details the public never asked to know. Jimmy Kimmel didn't hold back when weighing in, and the late-night verdict was merciless.
Prince Harry, whose memoir just broke the Guinness record for fastest-selling non-fiction book of all time. The story of Prince Harold and his frozen yogurt slinger is so popular, they're now releasing a version for kids. I don't know if you know about this. It's a twist on The Princess and the Pea. It's called The Prince.
600 pages later, the legacy distilled into a single late-night refrain, The Prince and the Penis. Oversharing at royal scale, reduced to a punchline beamed into millions of homes. Then Stephen Colbert zeroed in on the branding, those polished, performative initials that felt less like love and more like a corporate rebrand.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
M and H, as if they were a luxury conglomerate, instead of two people perpetually touring the media circuit to explain how exhausting media attention is. And at the Golden Globe Awards, in a ballroom packed with industry heavyweights, host Joe Coy delivered the line that crystallized it all: millions for nothing, in a room filled with actors who audition endlessly, writers who pitch for years, directors who claw their way to one shot. The contrast stung, but across the Atlantic, it wasn't just comedy, it was personal. To Britain, Harry wasn't a brand. He was the boy who walked behind his mother's coffin at 12 while the world wept. They forgave the Nazi costume, the Vegas photos, the youthful chaos. What they didn't forgive was the televised dismantling of family, country, and a monarchy that has stood for a millennium. So when British comics stepped up, it felt less like jokes and more like reckoning. And Jimmy Carr began with the contradiction no one was meant to say out loud.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
A self-declared lifelong feminist who abandoned her career the moment royalty beckoned. The irony hung thick in the air as the punchline landed with icy precision.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
And he didn't stop there, pressing harder, sharper, pulling the thread until the polished narrative began to unravel under its own weight.
Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada.
Taxpayer money underwriting, complaints about how unbearable a taxpayer-funded existence had become, the absurdity practically echoing through the auditorium.
The royal family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashian. Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he f***ed up.
Then there's the Nazi costume, an image frozen in digital amber, impossible to erase, no matter how many interviews with Oprah Winfrey, how many glossy Netflix specials, how many humanitarian accolades attempt to outshine it. Comedian Simon Brodkin went the distance and watched every second of the 6-episode Netflix saga, every pause, every tear, every carefully framed shot, and what he found was telling.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs, but now I've actually heard their side of the story, I hate them.
The project designed to win hearts and clarify their truth somehow managed to harden skepticism instead, flipping sympathy into irritation almost in real time.
They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H and M, and I just thought, oh, do f*** off.
The nicknames felt staged, the constant hand-holding rehearsed, the pauses too perfectly timed, as though viewers were watching a brand rollout disguised as intimacy. And when Brodkin unearthed passages from the memoir that made even comparisons to Prince Andrew feel charitable, the collective wince was audible.
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew.
When your writing style inadvertently softens softens the image of Prince Andrew, you've crossed into a realm of irony so thick it practically writes the satire for you.
Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack
6 episodes, that was all it took to transform neutrality into full-blown exasperation. Basic royal protocol presented as trauma, etiquette reframed as oppression, yet she was dating the Queen's grandson. A little research might have helped. Kelly Osbourne, raised in the chaos of the Osbourne household, bats, breakdowns, televised dysfunction, recognized melodrama when she saw it. When an Osbourne calls something too much, that lands differently, and her mother, Sharon Osbourne, cut deeper, arguing that drama wasn't collateral damage. It was the product. Without conflict, no content. Without controversy, no brand. Even Bill Maher stepped back and diagnosed the paradox, promoting privacy through publicity, denouncing media, while scheduling appearances to discuss it. Meanwhile, the example of Queen Elizabeth II loomed large, dignity through silence, strength through restraint. And as satire escalated, from South Park's worldwide privacy tour, megaphones to Family Guy's savage one-liner, to the eerily accurate puppets of Spitting Image, the cultural verdict felt unmistakable. Deals with Spotify evaporated, Netflix wavered, American Riviera Orchard's Jam and Honey became punchlines for names like Conan O'Brien and Ryan Reynolds. What remains isn't jealousy or monarchy worship, it's disbelief, a narrative that keeps shifting, a plea for privacy shouted through megaphones, a contradiction too glaring to ignore. The laughter echoing from comedy stages to animated episodes isn't the cause of their unraveling, it's the symptom of a public that simply stopped buying the story. So which moment cut deepest for you? The Netflix stage takedown, the pretzel bag parody, the animated megaphones? Drop your take below. And if you've stayed for this entire unraveling, subscribe, because whether they like it or not, this saga is still writing its next act. If this breakdown made you think, laugh, or see the story differently, drop your take in the comments and tell me which moment hit hardest. And if you want more sharp, no-filter deep dives like this, subscribe to Victoria Reports and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over and you won't want to miss what comes next.